Good lord, I'm tired. Hey there all you freaks and geeks, it's your resident Polychromatic Maniac, and I'm here to tell you about conventions. Forever ago I did a video about con etiquette and the do's and don'ts of conventions, but I never really delved into the whole convention scene. Like, what is a convention? And I got a lot of questions in the past regarding what should I do, where should I go, what should I wear? There were a lot of questions. I just can't remember all of them. Anyway, there's actually a video floating around somewhere online that I think I have a link to. If so, the link is in the description. I hosted a panel called Surviving Conventions Without Losing Your Mind, which is basically Conventions 101. It was mostly for people who are new to conventions and stuff like that. So today, I think I'm going to do the same thing. This will not be a one singular video. This will be spread out to elaborate more on certain aspects of convention life-ish, because it is kind of a lifestyle. Doesn't matter how many days it is still technically a lifestyle to get ready for these things. So, surviving conventions. So what is a convention? According to the dictionary, and I did actually write it down, a convention is an agreement between countries covering particular matters, especially one less formal than a treaty. I can't read without my glasses. This is really hard. But yeah, that's not really what a convention is. Think of like a gathering of like-minded individuals who like the same things and love to express their love for loving these things. Does that make sense? I think it makes sense. So there's literally convention for everything. There's an anime convention, there's Harry Potter conventions, there's comic conventions, Star Wars, Star Trek, fur conventions. Further confusion. That's what it's called. It's a fur con for furries. It's huge! There's so many furries! Anyways, conventions usually tend to be year-round, so like there's annual, so like there's one every year. There's also a convention like every weekend of the year. Like if you were to go online and look at convention lists, there is literally one every weekend throughout the year. So they're year-round. Peak season is actually definitely in the summer when more people are out of school and can afford to work more and go to their conventions and spend more money. That's how conventions make their money. And that's why there are so many big conventions in the summer. But if you really want to go to a convention but you're not really sure how to go about it, your best bet would be going to Google and just typing in conventions closest to me and then type in the type of convention that you want to go to. Like a gaming convention or comic convention or whatever. Or you can do what I like to do and go to animecons.org. It doesn't have the full list of conventions, just conventions that they know of. Usually Google is pretty good about these things, but you never know. So you find yourself a convention, now what do? Register. That's the next thing you need to do, is register for this convention. Now, what I like to do is register months in advance, because pre-registering or early bird registration is actually like 10 times cheaper than if you were to spend $70 at the door. For example, several years ago, Anime Iowa was $20 ahead of schedule during Christmas, and then the convention itself was $60 at the door. See what I mean? And you wonder why tickets to Comic-Con sell out so quickly. It's because everybody wants to get the cheapest price. Not even kidding. Another question that I get regarding registration is badge names. What should I use for my badge name? A lot of people ask. I tend to go with my cosplay name, which is Baka-Chip-Cookie. Otherwise, I'll go with Pink-Haired Maniac, or more accurately now, Polychromatic Maniac, so I get recognized easier. But there's no shame in using your first name or whatever, or just a name that you think is cute. One of my friends actually changes their badge name every convention she goes to. It's never the same, ever. The first year we went together, it was her name, then it was something else like Puss in Boots or something, or like some people like to do the name of the cosplay that they're doing. So every so often, say I'll see an Officer Jenny and their badge name is Officer Jenny, or Deadpool, Waluigi. I do tend to pay attention to the badge names. Not everybody does it, I just like reading them because they're always unique and fun. If you went to a convention last year and you don't know when to sign up for the next one, sign up for an online newsletter. It'll tell you when your badge goes on sale, when room blocks are open, the best places to live, to eat for the weekend, and just anything else. It'll also let you know what guests show up that year, when certain things are, like the masquerade, or if certain things change. The newsletter is a good thing to be a part of. And I always say register early, and I mean it. Especially for certain things like the masquerade, which is the costume contest. Some of the bigger conventions have a quote-unquote fancy ball. It's like prom, but with anime or comics or whatever. Yeah, usually they require you to sign up beforehand, and there's also a fee, but that's not always the case. Just make sure you look at the rules before you do so. There are also holiday deals, which are nice, but since we are in April, kinda miss those holiday deals, so make sure to sign up months beforehand for anything and everything related to your convention. Otherwise you'll miss out. And then you'll have to book a hotel that's like 30 miles away from the convention center, and that sucks. However, recently somebody asked me a question about hotels. They were wondering whether or not it would be a good idea to get a hotel even though they lived in town. Don't do that. Don't get a hotel if you live in town. It is so much easier and so much less stressful to just drive to your convention from home and stay at home. Jesus Christ, I cannot tell you how many people will just get a hotel and then have to pay extra and then complain when they can't buy the things that they need to, like food or water or just convention stuff like this. They can't buy this shit because they don't have the money for it. Wonder why. So now that you registered and got your hotel, what do you need to do next? Show up. Show up, get your badge, good to go. Some places offer mail-in badges, but that's up to you. Some people, like me, who lose their badges constantly, just like to actually show up at the convention at will call and pick it up there. That way you don't lose it beforehand and then have to buy a replacement. So you showed up to the convention, you got your badge, now what? Get to know your location. Where's the convention? Oh my god. Oh god, ouch. Best thing to do would be to get to know your location. Where's your hotel at? Is it near any places you'd like to go later? Maybe food? Sometimes conventions get really busy and lines take forever. Maybe you want to go somewhere else, like a tourist attraction. Be a tourist in costume. It's the greatest thing ever. I have paper in my hand still. Shit. Is there a way to get from hotel to convention without using your car? Is a shuttle free? Take it. Take the shuttle. If it's free, please take it. It costs so much less money for gas later. Oh my god. I cannot stress that enough. If it's free, use it. Continental breakfast. Get up early. Get the breakfast. Get food. Nutrition. Hydrate. Food. More things that have to do with your body. Jesus. Oh, also, another thing that kind of just popped into my mind is closest hospital. Sometimes things happen. Doesn't mean you actually need to know where the hospital is, but it's probably a good idea to, you know where the hospital is. It's also a pretty good idea to know the convention layout. Usually the program provides maps for where everything is, like events or costume competitions or even food places. Even though, just so we know, food is expensive at the convention. It is. It never fails. Even if it's a McDonald's, it's gonna be expensive. Bring your own food. But yes, convention layout. Most programs have a map of the convention center or hotel to let you know where things are. Some places don't do that, but there are big maps. Really big conventions like C2E2 in Chicago had big maps with what things were in certain rooms and stuff like that. Doesn't mean I didn't get lost, but there's also events. Where are the events? What are the events? Do you want to go to those events? You should probably figure out what you're going to do beforehand. And yes, they do email you the program beforehand if you ask. And by ask, I mean sign up for the newsletter, as I mentioned before. But another thing to do when you go to convention is rope in some friends. That's right, bring your friends with you. Not only is it cheaper to stay together at a hotel, but it's also nice when you just get overwhelmed and want to go back to your hotel and want to just spend time with friends. It's cheaper for gas, cheaper for food, you can all pitch in, and it's just a great time. And yeah, sometimes there's drama, but you're just gonna have to deal with it. There's always drama. Unless you're one of those rare friend groups that just never has any drama, give me your life, please. It's also very imperative to go by the buddy system. Not that you necessarily need to go by the buddy system, but if you're under the age of 18 at a convention by yourself, it's probably a good idea to at least let your friends know where you're at. Also, room key. Who has it? Make sure you get this figured out before you leave. Contact is key when you're staying with friends. I was supposed to have the room key. I gave it to somebody else in my group. I did text everybody, but not everybody knew that they had the room key, so they got mad at me, or like somebody gave another person the key and they thought I had it, but I didn't, and then they got mad at me or got mad at them. Communication. Very imperative to if you're going to be staying with friends, and I do recommend that you stay with friends because conventions can be weird and you always need a buddy. Plus, if you're around 13 and going to a convention, you need to take a parent with you, especially if it's like in another town. I'm sorry, I know that's super lame, but conventions are weird, and for some reason that gives people the excuse to be generally creepy with you, especially if you're a girl and you're 13. You're still a child if you're 13. I'm sorry, it's not just the law, it is actually a thing. You're 13, you don't know everything. Trust me, I'm 22 and I still don't know everything. I almost took my mom to C2E2 with me, mostly because she didn't want me to be alone in Chicago, but that was kind of a thing that she wanted to do anyways. It was just her excuse to go to downtown Chicago and shop all day, but take a parent with you. There's no shame in that. A lot of parents actually like going to conventions, surprisingly. My dad really likes to go, my mom really likes to go. Please take parents with you. I'm sorry. I know it's super lame and your parents might not want to, then take an older friend or an older sibling. Just don't go alone. There's just so many instances where underage kids are like harassed verbally and physically at a con, especially really big ones. I've never heard it happening at a small convention, thank God, but the bigger conventions like Comic-Con, stuff happens. Please be safe. Also hydrate. Hydration is very important. I'm going to be saying that a lot. And I've mentioned that before in con etiquette video and also in my panel, but make sure you're safe. Safety is priority. And if you're over the age of 21 and drinking, be safe. Make sure you actually do have a buddy to take with you so you're not stumbling around a strange town by yourself, because that happens too. To me. I also have to mention etiquette because conventions do come with their own set of rules. As I mentioned before, I did do 3 other videos about that called con etiquette. I'm not going to go super into detail about it because I already did, and if you want to see more into detail about it, just go watch them. But for now, I'll just state the general rules. Don't be a dick. This includes don't mess with people you don't know. Not everybody has the same sense of humor as you, so please be considerate of others. Don't overpack. That's just something to be considerate about for when you have roommates. The more stuff you have, the less room you have for other people, the more likely it is everybody's going to get angry with you. Be nice to staffers and volunteers. Volunteers and staffers are giving up their free time to help with you. Volunteers are doing this for free. They're not here to hinder you, they're here to help. And quite frankly, as a former volunteer slash staffer, I'm surprised some of them haven't gone on a murderous rampage. It's basically customer service, but without the benefits. Don't block hallways with your shit or conversations or pictures. That's just something that everybody should know, but no one seems to follow that rule. Don't glomp people. That's dangerous. Ask their permission. If they say no, respect the fact that they said no and don't glomp them. It's so dangerous and it hurts. If they do allow you to glomp them, be nice about it. Don't throw your entire self into the whole glomp thing because that's even worse. The whole don't glomp thing also goes into the cosplay does not equal consent. Just because they're your favorite character doesn't mean that you get to touch them. If they say they don't want you to touch them, don't touch them. Respect the fact that they said no and move on. It's not that hard. Prepare early, not that anybody really does, usually about 2 weeks before the convention, or, you know, if you're like me, at the very last minute, or during the convention. But yeah, it helps to get things done early so you don't have a huge headache later. And also watch what you wear. See one of my con etiquette videos for what I mean about that. And I don't mean like, oh, you're asking for it if you wear this, because you're not. It's your cosplay. Again, cosplay doesn't equal consent. Be mindful about what you wear. Just watch the video. And hygiene. Hygiene is super important. People get sick at a convention because some people don't shower. It blows my mind why people don't bathe regularly at conventions. Jesus Christ. It is so bad. Please, shower, bathe. Soap is your friend. Well, that about does it for this video. I don't think I'm gonna make this into a very huge thing like I did for con etiquette because I already mentioned most of this. If you're really that curious, you can go watch Convention Etiquette Parts 1, 2, and 3, and also my Surviving Conventions panel video, which is, again, provided in the description. But for now, thanks again for watching my video. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below. Like and subscribe if you liked what you see and want to see more. And if you want to get more involved in my shenanigans as a cosplayer or as just a general human being, you can follow me on my Twitter or Facebook. Thanks again for watching, everybody. I'll see you in the next video. Adios!